divisional weekend just took place. Actually didn't just take place. It's Wednesday. It was like 4 days ago. It ended. But Saturday and Sunday were filled with the NFL divisional playoff round football games. So it was 4 games this weekend that took place, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. And may I just say, every single game delivered. Every single game. If you are an avid consumer of the NFL or someone who is into sports, like, you can admit to me that, yes, the NFL delivered and the product absolutely just made everyone super happy. All 4 games came down to the final minutes, if not overtime. 3 of the 4 games actually ended in a last-second field goal, the last game ending in an overtime drive. The product of the NFL has not been higher, and the NFL divisional weekend is providing that. I'm honestly, like, I'm ready to go on the record and say this. That was the best weekend of football I've seen in my lifetime. And all my friends have heard it because the ones I've talked about this weekend with, like, I've repeated that statement over and over. It was the best weekend of football I've probably ever seen. Some of the best games I've ever seen just go back to back to back to back. Like, it was very, very good. And I'm just not, like, maybe if, like, I wouldn't be able to put this in as good a perspective if the Niners hadn't won. But the Niners won, so it made divisional weekend even sweeter. But I feel like every game seemed to be, like, upping the stakes, right? Like, you kind of, like, Saturday morning started out with Cincinnati and Tennessee, and Cincinnati, like, Joe Shiesty, the baller. I love Joe Burrow. Oh my God. He's been, like, the most lovable character of these playoffs, in my opinion. But he played really well. He beat the Tennessee Titans, the number 1 seed in the AFC, on a last-second field goal drive. After Ryan Tannehill threw his 3rd pick of the day. Like, and then, like, that was, like, the base. That was, like, okay, like, that's how divisional weekend's going to start. I was like, that might be the best weekend. That might be the best game of the weekend. Like, shit, what if the rest of the blowouts? Then you have Niners-Packers right afterwards. And that's, like, a gritty game in the cold weather, Lambeau Field, like, -2 degrees. Just, cold weather football. No offense can get it going. Both defenses are balling out. And then last second, Robbie Gould walk-off field goal in the snow at Lambeau Field. Like, okay, whoa, that was a great game too. Like, are we going to get better games on Sunday? And then you have Tampa versus LA, and it's looking like, this is going to be the worst game of the weekend. LA had a huge lead. They were kind of putting it on Tampa. Then Brady does Brady things, comes all the way back, ties the game up. And then Matthew Stafford has a go-ahead field goal drive after, he sees an opening in the defense and shoves a long one down to Cooper Kupp. And they win on a last-second field goal. And then you have the game of the weekend, which was Chiefs-Bills, Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen probably playing as close to a perfect game that a quarterback could play while also losing. And then Patrick Mahomes obviously pulling out the win in overtime there in Arrowhead. It was just great games, just one game on top of the other. It felt like the level of football was at an extremely high level. You had upsets, you had road teams win, and then, you had the favorite Kansas City Chiefs also pull it out as well. I feel like the NFL, in terms of, like, a monetary standpoint, is just chilling. They're in a great place. Like, the NFL is savoring over the amount of money. They're just licking their chops at the amount of money they're making, with all the views, with all the everything that's just coming to them. Like, it's been great. And it's not only just this divisional weekend. I feel like this divisional weekend has kind of represented what this season has been. This season in general has been a very good season. I think it definitely hits a little different because it's that first season right off of COVID, or like the majority of the pandemic, and like way more fans are back allowed in the stands, and football is kind of more, or the NFL at least, is way more accessible to all fans and all of these things. It's super cool. Like, it's just been a really good season because, and also, like, there hasn't even, like, if you look at the number 1 seeds, it was AFC, in the AFC is Tennessee, and the NFC is Green Bay, 2 teams that, like, really weren't clear favorites to win the Super Bowl. There isn't a clear favorite to win the Super Bowl. People were saying that the Patriots could make a run all the way to the bowl. People were saying that even potentially, the Niners were the 6th seed, and now they're all the way at the NFC Championship. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I thought the Rams, the Cardinals, the Niners, the Cowboys, if they were maybe even the Cowboys, if they had beaten us, could have made a run. Like everybody is like it just feels like a very open horse race right now to take a Super Bowl. And even in the NFC and the AFC championship this year, you have the Niners and the Rams, and you have the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Kansas City Chiefs. All four teams have a very valid case as to why they could make the Super Bowl and then win the Super Bowl. So it's just a very open-ended season, and I like that. I like the parity within the NFL right now that anybody can really make a run, which is cool. The Niners are in the NFC Championship. That's like the storyline that, in my opinion, and like with me, just gets lost in this whole crazy thing because I'm just like, wow, the NFL is at such a high level. Holy shit, my team's still in it. So it's pretty cool. It feels great as a Niners fan. Like as someone who was very critical of the team earlier on in the season, like it's awesome to see them like have really great playoff success. I really have no idea how they're in the NFC Championship game. This is kind of like beyond my wildest dreams. When we were at 3-5, like I didn't even suspect that we would make the playoffs, let alone like be in this position that we're in. So that's pretty cool. And like I said, like the NFL is just loving the business that they're doing. Like Niners Packers, which was a game that took place this weekend, did 21% better than any other divisional game last year. Right, which is crazy. Last year, you had 4 divisional games, and the Niners Packers had more viewers by about 21% than any single one of those divisional games had. I don't know about the other divisional games within this weekend, but I'm pretty sure like a rating over rating, like this divisional weekend just like blew the NFL out of the water. Like Chiefs Bills did crazy ratings during prime time and all of that stuff as well. People are calling the Bills Chiefs game this past weekend like the greatest football game of all time. I was working during the Bills Chiefs game, shout out. But honestly, like I was able to catch like most of the big plays and stuff, which was pretty cool. But there's something about this, dude. There's something about the NFL playoffs that's just like on another level, in my opinion. I think hoops, like I think in the NBA, like the playoffs are on another level in that like it's just a series and you get to know every opponent so well, and it's intense in its own way. But the NFL is just like you're when you win and you move on, you lose, pack it up, go back home, right? So it's like it has that thrill to it where it's there's no game 2 of the series. It's NFC Championship. You win this game, you go to the Super Bowl. You win this next game, you advance further in the playoffs. You lose, you're out of here. And you're going to have to deal with all the pressing questions that the NFL press and national media and everybody is going to talk about you, right? So like it's thrilling on that level, and then it's like a one game and you're out type thing. And I feel like the Niners have been playing that like one game and you're out type thing for like 7 weeks now. So it's put my heart on a freaking ventilator at this point. Um, and it seems like most people I know around here in the Bay Area really want to jump in on this. They're feeling hella FOMO. You know, they were like at 3-5. These are the same people who are like, oh, the Niners suck. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. Like, stop. And I'm like, just, I mean, I can't say that I wasn't in that crowd as well, but I was, I'd still wear my jersey around. I'd still rep my team. I was like, we're 3-5, but fuck it. Trey Lance is going to probably play soon. Obviously, it didn't end up happening. We obviously ended up winning a bunch of games. We've won 9 of our last 11, which is freaking crazy. And I still can't believe that. But like, I'm honestly like, can I just gush about the Niners for a second in excitement? Like I feel like a little kid again, like at the candy store where it's like, my Niners are in the NFC Championship like this year. Are we like tripping? Like, is this 2 years ago? Like, did I go back in time? Like, my Niners are still in it. They're in the NFC Championship. This is freaking awesome. This is going to be incredible. I cannot wait. To see them in the NFC Championship. Cannot wait till 3:30 this Sunday. I'm going to be nervous as all hell, but I think win or lose, like they're playing with house money at this point. So whatever happens. It's all good. But football for me, like right now, is probably the best it's ever been, and I think it's surpassing the NBA in terms of the product that it's giving out. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like I know that's kind of a hot take, but yeah. I do like the NBA. Don't get me wrong. Like ball is so much fun. Basketball was like my first love. Like I love watching basketball. But the NFL's product right now, like based on divisional weekend, based on week 18, based on these last few weeks of NFL football, excluding wild card weekend because it was filled with a lot of blowouts, the product has been at an all-time high. You cannot sit here and tell me that the NFL's product has not, increased tenfold since we last discussed it. Or since, anybody has really talked about it. Like this is crazy how good the level of like football there is right now. And the NBA, like honestly, like I think the 82 game regular season in the NBA, not to like go off topic of football, but the 82 game regular season in the NBA is not working out. Like fans are losing interest quickly. Like we've played what? I think the Warriors are 34-11, something like that. Um, so it's been 45 games so far. Like we're almost halfway through the season. Yeah, this is like right around the time where like NFL, like this is right around the time where like I'm usually like really tapped into the Warriors, right? Because like, oh, the NFL's over. The Niners are usually not making it to this point, but like now, the Niners are deep in the playoffs. So, I kind of got to worry about them too, and also worry about the Warriors. But like NBA season is like not really in full effect, in my opinion, until after the All-Star break, which is bad because that means the regular season is too long. I think the regular season should get cut to like 60 games. I really genuinely feel like then like interest levels would be up. Every game matters exponentially way more. And you're looking at a playoff picture that's much quicker and comes faster rather than, having to wait till literally April, which feels like forever. But that's how I feel about the NBA versus the NFL's product right now. I think the NFL is just very, on another level considering just the way things are working out. But basketball, I mean, the fucking playoffs of basketball are like exciting as all hell. Don't get me wrong, but like the NFL is right now, this year in particular has just been so good. It's been so good. And I don't want to gush over the NFL anytime longer. There's so many more freaking things we got to talk about. So here we go.